Hi there, Jacqueline J. Smith here, owner of LSW Global Solutions, LSW Media Group, and Triumph Through Tears, as well as a soon to be announced named new company. Please stay tuned for that announcement. It is coming up. I promise you, just give me a couple of more episodes and stay tuned for that announcement. So today, thank you so very much for those of you that have been tuning into this series, Walking Through Grief. I appreciate you hanging in there with me and hearing me and listening to me share my story. So my story or my journey with grief began on October 31st, 2019, when my 22-year-old daughter, Chantal, was killed in a car accident. And as I mentioned before, but if you happen not to catch the first episode of this particular series, the way this series even came about was I was talking to a friend who I thought had a nonprofit that assisted people with getting shoes, or she collected shoes to distribute to others, which actually was not the case. What she did was she was actually looking to start her own shoe line, but as we were talking, she just mentioned a way for me to be able to not have to let go of Chantal's shoes, if you will, but still be able to tell my story through her shoes, which is what sparked and birthed this particular series. So the name of the series is Walking Through Grief, and the first episode I talked about walking through grief with my flip-flops, in that the Lord is carrying me through this journey each and every moment of each and every day. And then we also talked about the stilettos, Chantal's stilettos. They're all Chantal shoes. I can't none of them fit me. I may be able to squeeze them on my feet, but none of them fit me. They're all Chantal shoes. So the stilettos represented my defender in grief, a stance, if you will, or my defender in chief stance, in terms of being able to support other mothers who may be in a place where they find they can't use their voice, or have not been allowed to use their voice in sharing their grief and acknowledging their grief, and stepping in to be able to assist them in that. And then we talked about the wedges being that first stepping stone, if you will, to being able to wear the heels and being on some level and steady ground, and just those first tenuous steps into being able to move forward in the journey. So today we are talking about more shoes, of course. We're talking about some heels, not quite stilettos, but what you may notice about these particular shoes is that one is bright patent leather, shiny, and the other is not, I won't call it dull, but I'll call it matte. So one of the things that resonate with me with regard, or one of the things that these two particular shoes represent to me, is that sometimes grief is not shiny. Grief is never shiny, but there are just times when honestly I feel dull. I feel in some moments like I am not able to move forward or do some things. And in those moments, I just have to take a step back and lean into whatever it is that I'm feeling at that particular time, to give me and to recharge, to ask the Lord again to pick me up, to continue carrying me, put those flip-flops back on, and to be able to continue this particular journey. And then the shiny part actually represents the joy. So in some ways, the two different types of shoes also represent joy and pain. So joy can absolutely exist and reside with pain. So just several months ago, Thanksgiving holiday, a couple of months ago, my son got engaged. And while I was so extremely happy for him that he is moving on with the next phase and next steps in his life, I was also sad that his sister won't get to be able to experience that with us and experience that with him, with her brother. And so again, both absolutely resided in the same moment at the same time. Extreme joy, for him, and also sadness that Chantal won't witness it. So these and again, both shoes can absolutely represent so many different things with regard to this journey and where it is and where it's leading and where it's taking me. And I am grateful to be able to share my story in hopes that someone else finds some encouragement to be able to move on with their journey and whatever that looks like. And trust and believe, I am not saying that moving on means getting over or anything of that nature, because for myself, I will be grieving Chantal until the day I take my last breath. I have not forgotten my baby girl. I will never forget my baby girl. As a matter of fact, she is so much a part of what is going on and what is manifesting in this season that I can't even describe it. And like I said, I am so grateful for the doors that the Lord is opening and those that He is allowing me to witness to and support and defend. Not happy about the way it came about, but it is His will and His will be done. And so I'm in some ways grateful that He has chosen me to be the vessel that He has selected to carry this message. One of the other things that I talked about on the last episode was now being a rebel, being a, completely outside of what I generally or normally am known for. Generally, I'm the quiet one. I'm the one that doesn't speak up. I'm the one that, acquiesces and does what they're supposed to do and follows the rules and is the conformist. But I'm finding in this season that I am now the rebel, and I reject several notions or several areas, if you will, that relate to grief and how grief is dealt with and how people respond to those who are grieving. And I don't remember if I said this or not, but definitely stay tuned, because a book is coming and I will be looking forward to being able to share that as well. So the book is coming, and it in some ways delves into my newfound rebelness, is that a word? My newfound area of, rebelling or rejecting those tried and true notions of grief and what grief looks like and how people respond to grief and those things. I am not a licensed therapist at all. However, I am a supporter of those who are grieving. And again, one of the things that I will stress, while whatever response you may be experiencing related to grief is valid and should be accepted and acceptable, if you are harming yourself, if you are harming others, or if you are thinking about harming yourself or thinking about harming others, please seek professional assistance. Other than that, all responses are valid and your grief is your grief. My philosophy is those who are grieving should be allowed to grieve in their own way, in their own time. So as mentioned previously, we do have this resource, Triumph Through Tears, the workbook. And pardon me. Excuse me. And oh my goodness. Sorry about that. Whoa, okay. And the workbook does identify several responses to grief. Again, you may experience some of these responses, you may experience none of them. In addition, there are several coloring pages that, because sometimes you just need to doodle and let your mind go and wander and, not really necessarily think about anything. And then there are also some pages and areas where you can jot down whatever response you may be feeling at any given time, at any given moment, and just how that is resonating with you at that time, and how you're moving through that particular moment of your grief journey. So the workbook can be accessed at triumphthroughstears.com. Or you can also, if you would like to get in touch with us and contact us, you can do so at lswnetwork.com/contact us. You'll be able to also obtain a copy of the workbook at that area, as well as some additional resources and contact points and information that we have available out there. So again, Jacqueline J. Smith here, owner of LSW Global Solutions, LSW Media Group, Triumph Through Tears, and a soon-to-be-named new company that I am grateful to be able to share with the world very shortly. So please stay tuned until another episode or two, and it may even be the next episode. So please stay tuned. Come back and join me again. I'm grateful for the time that you spent with me today, and we will see you next time. God bless.